welcome to the Hollywood Raw Podcast, Raw Rundown. My name is Adam Glyn. Over there is Dax Holt. We go over the top 10 stories of the week in the world of entertainment news. It's not, we're not changing live. We're not going to win a Pulitzer Prize for our news coverage of of covering Blake Lively and P. Diddy. But my name is Adam Glyn.
Speak for yourself. What we are doing here is God's work. You know what I'm saying? Come on.
We did break a story last week, I guess, that we knew that Blake's team did have something that was going to kind of a game. I guess they knew a little insight that they were gonna. It was some news that was going to give them some relief that kind of came out. I guess last week was it, or 2 weeks ago? I think it was like 2 weeks ago.
With the judge dismissing the other case. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, but it's but for the defamation. But that case is still not done. We'll get into that. Dax, how you doing? Are you excited for the new Brad Pitt movie?
I guess. I mean, I'll watch it. I don't think I'm running to the movie theater to check it out. I think it's interesting. I'm not a big F1 person per se. Yeah. But I will check it out. Yeah.
So 2 things happened this week. Number one, I'm looking it up right now with the name of the shows. I just started watching that John Hamm news show on Apple TV, Your Friends and Neighbors. I'm like one episode in so far. I don't dislike it. I'm invested into it so far. Do I love it? No. And that's not against the show. I'm like, okay, the first episode held my attention. I'm now on the second episode. I need something to watch. So yeah, I'll let you know how that show goes. Speaking of Brad Pitt, though, so I did a favor, Dax, for this celebrity esthetician, facialist, if you must say. And so in exchange, they gave me a facial. Not you're laughing, not the sexual facial. No, yeah, you pervert. I got the real facial, but this is not your average facial. This was I saw the price. She comped it because again, I got her in the news for some stuff that she did. And dude, if you're able to afford what these celebrities do when it comes to facials, I mean, your face will thank you. You're going to look great if you're a 7, you're going to look like an 8. I'm a 6. I look like a 7. She just honestly, it just, they exfoliate your skin, they hydrate your skin, they go through everything and get everything underneath the skin. But I asked her, first of all, the price was almost under $1,000. Number one. Number two, I asked her how often you're supposed to get this. She's like, I recommend once a month. I'm like, oh my God. And she's like, yeah, I got people that come.
How are people paying for this shit?
Well, she's like, I got people that come every 2 to 3 weeks. I'm like, that's insane. And I think growing up, someone like Paris Hilton, who says she never got Botox, and I believe her, I think she grew up getting facials twice a month. Mm-hmm. Her skin looks great. She looks great. And it makes a big difference. I mean, I say that now as my face looks very oily. It's because I'm sweating because it's finally hot in the East Coast. It's finally summer weather. It's been raining a ton. But again, if you're able to afford what these celebrities do to look good, I mean, it makes a difference. But also, it's such an investment.
I got a facial the other day because my wife and I went to a spa. I got her a spa day for Mother's Day. So I was like, okay, she'll take the massage. I normally get massages. And then I got the facial. Afterwards, I was like, okay. They rubbed a bunch of creams on my face and blew some steam to open up my pores. But then at the end of it, I was like, I should have got a massage.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if I have a choice between a facial and massage, I'll probably go with massage because I think the facial, you could do some of it at home. Massage, obviously, it's a little harder to get a massage at home. But
it's hard to massage yourself too at home.
I do that plenty. I don't know. I've been it's a little difficult, but somehow I've been succeeding in that. But it's what these celebrities do to invest in their looks. Let's be honest. If you're a celebrity, okay, you get a role. 10% goes to your lawyer. 10% goes to your agent. 10% goes to your manager. And then you got to think of how much money you have to invest into, your publicist. So you have to spend the $5,000 to $10,000 a month into your publicist. Now you have to spend the money into your clothing. You have to spend the money into your health, which is, food, diet. Obviously, if you're going to do these facials, I mean, it is, you got to really make money or have someone who's willing to invest in you. And there's some like stories about celebrities, and I don't want to say names, but I've heard rumors of celebrities that just came from money and were able to afford it. But I heard some other celebrities just had other people invest in them, so they're able to kind of live that
Well, I
life.
think that's why when we hear these stories of like, hey, so and so blew through $20 million, $100 million, and you're like, how is that possible? Because they didn't have $100 million to start off with, right? Like they had half that amount. Because, like you said, there's so many people with their hands open saying, I deserve some of that money in your pocket because of what I've done for you. So they end up walking away with not as much. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of celebs making a shit ton of money. I just think that our perception of what these celebs make, like when you hear Brad Pitt made $30 million up front on this F1 movie, he didn't actually make $30 million. There's going to be agents involved. There's going to be publicists involved. There's going to be managers involved. And everyone is grabbing so that they have their amount of money. So I'm sure he walked away with a crap ton.
And you got to remember,
$30 million himself? No.
Yeah, but when it comes to celebrities, though, there's 0.5% of them that are actually making some serious money. The rest of them are like, you hear the term working actors. Yeah, they're actors, are on TV, but they're, they're
working at Denny's.
Yeah, they're working at Denny's, but they have to kind of keep up and they have to work just to kind of make ends meet. And again, it's such a weird business. Like it's a very hard business now because celebrities, actors have to say which line they're going to cross. Are they going to go into that line where they're going to start endorsing brands? Or are they going to be strictly a hardcore actor and not, so it doesn't jeopardize roles from people looking at them anything more than an actor? It's got to be very strategic how you play it, but it's not cheap to be good looking. Comes with some money. Look at Brad. Somehow, every time we look at Brad Pitt, either has a lot of hair, he has no hair. We said that the other day, right? It's just like, man, how quick does this guy grow hair?
Makes no sense.
Yeah, it was always weird. All right, today is the Raw Rundown. We go with the top 10 stories of the week. How do we pick the top 10 stories of the week? It goes by Google search. It goes by data. And lastly, it goes by our personal opinions, but ultimately comes down to the data, what people are clicking on. Before we get to the Raw Rundown, the top 10 stories of the week, Dax, do you have a review for us?
I do. All right. This review comes from CDL96. Can you see it? You can't see it yet, can you?
Not yet.
Hold on. Let me try to share it again. Still getting used to our new little software we got going here. All right. So this one comes from CDL96. It says, the absolute best podcast. I love this podcast. This is my favorite podcast. I never miss an episode. My favorite episodes are when former and current journalists come on the show to share their stories about celebrities. Please bring back Joe Andalaro. His stories are the best. Keep up the great work, Adam and Dax. Your number one fan, Sonia L. from Orlando, Florida.
Dax, I appreciate that. By the way, I never saw the thing never came up on the screen. So.
I don't know. I can't figure out this new system. I'll have it edited in post.
Sounds good. Sonia, thank you for the review. And yes, I agree. Joe is the best. Love Joe. Joe is a favorite of mine, a fan favorite, the joy of everything on TikTok. He's a good guy. Dude, me and him, we had a great time in New Orleans. Ah, man. Super Bowl this year. Every time I go to the Super Bowl every year, this year I went with Joe. I always starts off slow, and I'm like, I don't know if it's going to be great. Then I come back, I'm like on a high. But, dude, it was so much fun. And know what? I got to be honest with you, next year is going to be hard. Next year's in San Fran. I don't know how great it's going to be. How great can San Fran be?
It's going to be hard to top this last one.
I mean, from Vegas was awesome, and then New Orleans was fantastic, and it's going to be tough. All right, let's get to the Raw Rundown, Dax, starting with number 10.
Number 10, Miley Ray. Sorry, guys. I'm still tired. Miley Cyrus. She is opening up about her dad and some of the things he used to do on the set of Hannah Montana, and she would get blamed for it. So she was sitting down for a podcast with her sister Brandy and her mom Tish on the Sorry We're Cyrus podcast, and she remembered this moment when I guess he came to set and he was smoking weed, and everyone started to blame her for it. Everyone was like, "Oh, so Miley's smoking weed," and she's like, "Nope, like wasn't me." I don't think she was ratting out her dad back then. So it was just she laughed about the moment. She's being pretty open, I would say, about the family drama. I mean, there's been a lot of issues, but she is basically saying that she's doing a lot of inner work, trying to clear out all the emotional wreckage and essentially trying to bring this broken family back together. Whether or not it's going to work, I have no idea. But I think her just opening up, laughing about moments like this where she's saying, it was embarrassing at the time, and now I can look back and laugh about it and maybe cringe a little bit, but ultimately laugh about what my childhood was like and what it was like going to work, especially with your dad also being there.
I love Miley. I think Miley's so cool. I could see that though, of her going to set. People, like, as soon as you arrive on set, people smell weed, and they start to associate, like, oh man, she just came to set reeking like weed. But again, if she hits all her points and she hits all her notes, I mean, she shows up on time. Who cares? But yeah, I like Miley. I think Miley's got Miley. You only imagine how many stories Miley to Kendra.
So many.
Like they're never going to tell these stories, and they have stories of other people, but they keep their mouth shut. I think everyone has
her,
like that,
Paris. But there's people out there that have probably endless amounts of stories to tell. I will say this. So Miley, she posted some stuff on her Instagram page of her in Paris with like a bunch of different fashions on. I can't get into the blonde eyebrows. I am really struggling with the blonde eyebrows. It looks so weird to me. And I know that it's like fashion and this is like the new thing. I saw like Amelia Gray Hamlin also had blonde eyebrows. I remember when Madonna put her eyebrows blonde. So they look like they're not there, but it looks so bizarre.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
I don't know.
I'm not
into it.
Yeah. Miley should just.
And I know Miley cares about what we think, so she'll definitely probably change it up soon enough.
Yeah, I would say Miley should just do it. This is the new web series, right? People like Miley who have such random tattoos. The whole episode is them just kind of, okay, I got this tattoo when I was drunk. I thought I liked pizza. I got a tattoo of a pizza. This one was you know what? And they just give a story of each shitty tattoo they got.
And she said she regrets a lot of them, so. She would have a great episode.
Yeah, she'd be good. She rules. Miley rules. Dax, number 9.
Number 9, Kelsey Grammer expecting another child. This will be number 8 for him. He's 70 years old. He is becoming a dad with his 4th wife, and this will be their 4th kid together. So Kelsey and his wife, Kate Walsh, were out. They were strolling through, I want to say it was London, earlier this week, and you see her big old pregnant belly, and they've got the other 3 kids there with them, but she is expecting a child, and I guess he is all about it. I am so tired, and I'm in my 40s. I'm early 40s, and I'm tired with 2 children. How have you had 7 so far? You're on your 8th one. How do you even stand up at this point?
Because you have that residual money, like when you think Kelsey Grammer just is probably just. I wonder how much in residuals he still makes a year, but he probably has lawyers. What wife is this, by the way?
This is number 4.
Number 4. So I'm sure he has prenups, okay, and then he's got enough money to afford a nanny.
But what does that have to do with anything?
Like, I don't think he's even woken. I guarantee he's never woken up in the middle of the night from his last 2 kids. Not the first 3, but the last, the last 3 kids. He's probably never woken up in the middle of the night.
So let's go over their ages. This is the list of all of Kelsey Grammer's children because he's expecting number 8. He has an 8-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 12-year-old. These are all with Kate. Then he has a 20-year-old son, a 23-year-old, a 33-year-old, and a 41-year-old daughter. Those are all of his kids. Like, that's quite the span from 8 to 41 right now. Holy shit.
43-year-old daughter. You said 43-year-old daughter?
41.
41. So when that 41-year-old is 71, like that 71-year-old, like imagine being 30 years old and be like, oh yeah, I have a sister who's 70, huh? Like what?
Yeah,
Like that's the hardest thing
it
to
doesn't.
really.
Okay, how about being 70 and saying I have a brand new child, a newborn? That is crazy to me.
I mean,
I'm sitting here thinking about like, man, I want to make it to all my children's big moments in their lives, and what is he going to make it to? Their 10th, 20th birthday?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
that's crazy.
yeah. It's pretty. The whole thing is pretty gnarly. I wonder if he even knows what's going on. But yeah, that's an investment. I mean, I wonder how much money when is in the will for these kids after everything happens. I know it's a not a good thing to really think about, but yeah, I would think about that if I'm the 41-year-old. I'm like, fuck, my dad just having another
Well, the
kid. I just
41-year
lost
old
out.
was
Yeah, I just lost out
I
on
was going to say
200
an
grand real
ape.
quick. Like, what are you nuts? Like, Dad, I'm glad that fucking you just cost me 200 grand. Or you cost me 200 grand. Yeah, but no, that's weird. I mean, I shouldn't say it's weird. Whatever makes you happy. I would I would love the conversation between the older children in the family, what they're having. Like, oh, this is so nice. Is it like we just lost out on a ton of money? There goes more money to our
maybe
family.
we're just jaded.
Maybe it's another way of life. Dax number 8.
All right, number 8. Oh, this one's actually kind of crazy, but if you heard earlier this week, Alex Cooper, in her new TV show, basically alleged sexual harassment by one of her former soccer coaches, Nancy Feldman. So this came out on her Hulu docuseries called Call Her Alex. She talked about basically being sexually assaulted by, or I'm sorry, sexually harassed by this former coach at BU University. I should say Boston University, at Boston University. And now a lot of the women's alumni have come forward to sign a letter in support of that former head coach, Nancy Feldman, saying, look, we are not saying that nothing ever happened. We don't want to diminish or discredit anyone else's individual experience. However, we felt it was necessary to share our perspective as a united group, saying that there was never any moment that they ever felt unsafe under her leadership. So I feel like that was a pretty strong statement to say, Alex, what you had is no. I don't know if they're saying that it didn't happen, but they're saying that they never saw anything at all that could have been called sexual harassment.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if the coach got people to rally together to kind of like, hey guys, like I thought we have a good relationship. Do you mind speaking up? But very unique
Yeah, like,
situation.
hey,
I will
my
say
name is
this.
being smeared all over the line.
Yeah, but you know what? I think so. I heard a story with Barstool and Dave Portnoy, who was one who kind of launched Alex
Mm-hmm.
Cooper, and when she came back filming for her this Hulu documentary, the producers sort of had like this agenda, and I guess she tried to kind of put this agenda, saying it was very tough for her at Barstool because it was a male dominant place, but she wasn't the only woman there, and there was other women who were also working there who were
Wasn't
doing
the
content for
CEO a
Barstool.
woman at the time?
She was Erica Nardini. So I think
Yeah.
like they were a little bit pissed, like confused, like, hey, like we actually supported you very well, like, and actually we're the ones who got you going. And she
Mm-hmm.
tried to put this agenda like it was very tough for her in that, and they're like, we pushed you, like we actually pushed you. So I don't want to say I trust Alex Cooper because I saw a piece of the documentary and she took down notes during her experience. It's just it was her experience, and other people had different experiences. I watched the documentary; it
Mm-hmm.
was fine. I mean, it was fine. It was content. I wasn't like, oh my god, you need to watch it. I'm not mad I
Doesn't sound
watched
like
it.
you're recommending it.
I wasn't mad that I watched it. I wasn't like, oh my god, this is an incredible doc. I've seen better documentaries. I've seen worse. It was fine.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know if she's really that worthy of like a documentary yet. Like I still think she's sort of new.
Yeah.
I mean, I will give her credit. This she has a few very good questions on her podcast, but the questions she asked are very generic. They're almost like stuff you'd hear like on like one of those women's sites. Like, what would you rather be like? Have sex or be eaten out for the rest of your life? If I only do one. I'm like, oh, that's a good question. But I'm like, that's the same question I would see on like Bustle or something like that. Like it's nothing
Yeah.
to, I don't know. All right, what am I talking about, Dax? Number 7.
Kim Zolciak, her money issues are being revealed, and they are not looking good. Apparently, she now owes $1.8 million in different taxes and fees. She may need to borrow a bunch more money from her daughter, Ariana Bierman, at this point, because we know that she's been asking her daughter for money. But it seems like over the last few years, she just keeps racking up bills over bills over bills. And a lot of it has to do with taxes. A lot of it has to do with legal issues and honestly paying lawyers. And so I want to say it was the Daily Mail got their hands on all of the documentation with all the amounts that she is owed. Or that she owes. She currently owes 1.8 according to various court filings, tax liens. However, number could be higher due to accrued interest and other fees. So basically, it seems like a federal tax lien was filed against them back in 23, owing $700,000 for their taxes in 2018, another $330,000 for their taxes in 2017, $100,000 for the taxes in 2013. That equals $1.1 million in back taxes. And then it just goes down and lists the legal fees from her divorce filing with Croy. She was racking up $33,000 for her divorce. Then the attorneys have also filed not lawsuits, but they've filed basically wanting their money. They wanted liens for their money. So I don't know where Kim plans to get the money. How does she get out of it at this point? Because they've sold their house. They've been renting back for a little bit. What happens now? Like, do you got to declare bankruptcy at this point, right?
You have to declare bankruptcy. Then you do a podcast on her because they'll give you a podcast probably. But
they'd definitely give her one. She'd be a good one.
Yeah, they'll give her a podcast in 2 seconds. According to In Touch Weekly, they say her net worth is estimated around $300,000, which is kind of wild to think because not too long ago, she was just selling her $6 million house. She had a $6 million house, but I mean, was it really $6 million? Because she only got $2.75 million for it, but the house was in foreclosure. She was evicted by U.S. Marshals back in April this past year. So, how is she making the money now? She's selling a lot of her luxury items like designer jewelry and handbags. But yeah, I think she's going to start doing a lot of appearances.
Yeah, that's not enough to pay off a bill like this, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think the government needs to know that you're actually working and have money coming in, but you're going to have to declare bankruptcy at some point. I mean, I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
Which when you declare bankruptcy, better than I do. I guess it's like just starting over. You just lose everything. You just
ruin your credit. How you're going to like buy a house after that, I don't know. You got a long way to climb out after that point.
Yeah, buying a house, I think, is out of the picture. I think she's a renter now. I think she doesn't want to be held into that. So, yeah. All right, number 6, Dex.
Number 6, Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly finally revealing the name of their baby daughter. We've been waiting for a little bit. They had not said, they didn't even announce whether or not it was going to be a boy or a girl for a long time. Then they finally kind of have been relaying a little bits of information on social media. He posted a photo of him playing the ukulele to her while she's in her little like bassinet or whatever it is. You can't really see her because she's off camera. But he revealed a name, and it's Saga Blade Fox Baker.
Saga.
So I had no commentary for you. Saga.
I mean, it seems it works for like a Mortal Kombat. Like, I don't know. It works for them, I guess. Saga. I mean,
I feel like this whole thing has been a saga between the two of them. So it does make sense why you name your daughter that.
No, hey, listen, good for him. From what I've heard stories, he seems like a very good parent for the life he lives, and I think maybe some people have other kind of thoughts on him, but I've heard stories that he flies back to go see his daughter's volleyball games, and he's it's not his first child, so yeah, good for him. My
Hmm.
buddy actually ran into him yesterday, just sitting in Washington Square Park, just like at the fountain, and nobody recognized him. I'm like, because everyone in Washington
Really?
Square Park in New York City looks like a Machine Gun Kelly, but I'm surprised because he has such distinct tattoos. But yeah, he was just like walking around, very normal, very cool, and yeah, I mean, hey, seems like he's a good dad for a guy who's got a crazy schedule, but good on him. I like Machine Gun Kelly. I like his new song. I like his music. I mean,
Can I tell
and
you,
I
I
want to
came
hate on
on
it just because, but I like it.
the same. I wanted to hate on that music video. Like the music video, I think is still lame, but the song has become very catchy, and I now find myself listening to it. It's a good song. He did it. He got me.
Dude, he's had, in my opinion, in the last 5 years, I'd say he's had at least three songs for me personally in the top 20.
Yeah.
I don't want to say which one, but whatever. But like, I was like, oh, this song is just dope. I still like listening to it. So, congrats MGK and Megan Fox. Dax number 5.
Tyler Perry being sued for $260 million by Derek Dixon, who was in the Oval. He did a couple other big projects with Tyler Perry, but basically this lawsuit against him is claiming that the filmmaker sexually harassed and assaulted and coerced this actor. And so people got their hands on this lawsuit that was filed on Friday, June 13th. It was in Los Angeles, and Dixon was starring as Dale on Tyler Perry's BET series Ruthless and The Oval. The complaint, Dixon alleges that Perry used the promise of career advancement to create what he describes as a coercive, sexually exploitative dynamic. He claims that the initial excitement of working with one of Hollywood's biggest powerful people quickly turned dark when unwanted advances began to escalate. And the actor says that after failing to reciprocate Perry's alleged sexual innuendos, he experienced retaliation, both physically played out in storylines of his character and professionally. So he basically said he lost out on a ton of money, and he is now going after Tyler Perry. My thing is, let's be honest. If you, I get it. If you sexually assaulted, you deserve, money. You deserve whatever. Do you deserve $260 million though? Because even if you landed that, if you kept that role and you knocked it out of the park, were you ever going to make $260 million doing that? Like, did you lose out on lost wages? That seems really high amount of money.
So yeah, I guess the question is, how do you get that number? I don't know. I guess it's like the potential money what that show could have made. What my role could have been big.
Well, the thing
What I
is,
could have made in the future.
he said, but when he was like basically kicked off, he claims he lost $400,000 in lost income.
How
Again,
much?
how $400,000? How did it get up to $260 million? My goodness! I mean,
Yeah, I
pain and
mean, I guess
suffering.
that makes more news,
I
and you
don't
just hope
know.
for a settlement. But he knew that this was going to make some news. I mean, I'm sure
Oh
they
yeah.
got, and hit up before it even the lawsuit was made. Say, hey, listen, do you want to settle some sort of settlement? And he knew that this was coming out. He made a social media video saying, "Relax, it's not that like just come on,
Hmm.
like."
Yeah, I
So I
saw.
mean,
I
again,
think it
he could have
was.
settled, and he's like, "Yeah, come on, let's just how does this
I,
end? I don't know."
I saw the Shade Room had posted some like text messages back and forth between the two of them. So it will be interesting. Listen, I know nothing about Tyler Perry. I am not saying innocent or guilty, just reporting. I just was more caught off guard by the amount of money that is being sued for, which I just thought was a huge number.
Yeah. All right, Dax, number 4.
Now, we're going to do a 4.5 because I got two stories here. We need to get
Okay.
into just a little update on the Justin Baldoni, Taylor Swift, and Blake Lively issue. Basically, Baldoni's people in Wayfair had said they want to get their hands on some of the communication between Blake Lively and Taylor Swift through text messages and other things. And Blake's people were like, no, 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 this is just an attempt at you guys trying to utilize Taylor's fame to strum up more publicity for this whole thing. You don't need her text messages. Leave her out of this. And the judge actually sided with Justin and Wayfarer and said, nope, I think communications between Taylor and Blake, they could be related to the drama with the This Ends With Us. And he said, go for it. Try to get your hands on some of those messages and see if there was anything in there that helps the case. And so the judge did say, look, some of the messages between Blake and Taylor will be relevant. Others, however, they can't be leaked out because there's a protective order preventing that from happening. So as interesting as it sounds, I don't think the rest of us will ever be able to see what those two talked about. But I do think there's a huge curiosity factor on seeing what these two massive stars are texting about behind closed doors.
Yeah, I mean, once we hear about what was actually said, that's makes things get interesting again. And again, that was a big win for Justin after he just had a pretty big loss. So at what point has everyone just kind of waved the white flag and said, okay, let's just kind of end this peacefully of some sort?
Yeah. I got to think, though, like, think about being Taylor and you're like, God damn, I worked so hard to keep my reputation upstanding. And now I literally can't do anything to save this or, make myself look good, because they're going to just go digging into your phone records and find the communication back and forth. That's kind of crazy probably for her.
I think from now on, she's only going to do voice messages and WhatsApp somehow. She's like, screw that. I'm not texting anyone ever again. This is that so much more drama that I have nothing to do with. I shouldn't be involved in. I get it. She should not be involved in. However, it's like, it's really not about her. It's more about the situation. And it's like, hey, they're just throwing a good move on his lawyers, I guess.
I have a question for you. Is that why celebs, a lot of them, do voice recording messages? Is because they don't want it to be in like documentation? Because I know you have celeb friends, I have celeb friends, and every time they send me like voice messages, and I'm always like, why can't you just text like a normal person? But is that why?
I don't know. Good question. And I do have celebrities, big names, that send me voice messages. But the thing is, I never send anybody else voice messages except them, because I'm like, oh, am I supposed to send a voice message back to you?
I always find it weird. Like I sometimes I want to think about what I'm going to text rather than just like saying it.
Yeah, it just sounds better because I don't want to say a lot of the ums and stuff. I'm a better writer than speaker. Obviously, I do a podcast. It's funny. I've had many celebrities. They prefer to send voice messages. Maybe it's just me. They're like, hey, this thing could get deleted. And once in a while they'll text me, but for the most part it's voice messages. Maybe that's a celebrity thing.
Because in my mind, I was always thinking, wow, why would you want your voice recorded? Like then people know for sure that you sent that text message, but maybe voice messages can never be subpoenaed or something. I don't know.
Maybe. All right. Because that was 0.5. Then it's 4.0.
Yep. 4.0, just Diddy. I just want to do a quick update. Not a lot happened this week. They did on the 18th, the judge kind of abruptly adjourned proceedings after a juror suffered vertigo and couldn't continue. He basically came out and said, we have a sick juror. I don't think there's any way for us to proceed today. So that juror later got dismissed. And then the court will resume on Friday today because Thursday was the Juneteenth holiday. And then on the 17th, there were some jurors that took a lengthier sex tape evidence. We talked a little bit about this earlier in the week where they showed off some of the freak off videos where it didn't get showed to the whole court, just the jurors. They would show them these clips. They would have little monitors. They would have headphones, and they got to watch some of the freak offs happening. Basically, the prosecution was saying that these were the types of tapes that were being used for blackmail. If you remember, Cassie had said, I feared for my career, I feared for my family because of these tapes. And the defense, they're saying, no, this was consensual participation. And you can see it. This is evidence of the sexual conduct in this case was consensual. And look at these videos. You can tell everyone wants to be there. Everyone wants to be doing those things. I can tell you, I want to be watching those videos and see what the hell went down. But that was kind of really the two big things that happened this week. Not much is going on. The trial that was resuming today, On Friday, there was a former assistant, Brandon Paul, linked to multiple assault allegations, was last seen arrested during the Miami raid. He will be, I guess, hitting the stand. And then the judge hinted that there could they could begin deliberations by next week ahead of potential July 4th wrap up. So
Wow.
we might be coming to the end here, people.
All right. Very cool. Well, maybe not cool. Just weird again. It's never cool. It's just always weird. Every week it's just weird. Dax, number 3.
R. Kelly, he was hospitalized after an alleged overdose in prison. The lawyers for R. Kelly are saying the singer was taken to the hospital, alleging that he suffered quote unquote overdose caused by officials at the North Carolina prison where he is currently being housed. If you remember last week, we were talking about how his lawyers were saying that the people inside the prison officials are trying to have him killed, that they were allegedly hiring some gang members to plot an attempt at murder, and then obviously blaming it on that other inmate, but then he would escape, and then there would be not enough sufficient evidence to accuse him of the murder, and it'd be a whole thing. So I think this is one more part of that where they are saying, look, they're trying to kill this man. You need to get him out of here. Whether or not it's true or not, I don't know. They're asking for Trump's help in getting him out of this prison, because if not, he is going to wind up dead.
Can you imagine? I mean, just imagine Trump pardons R. Kelly. I mean, that's really, if he really wants to shake things up, like, pardon R. Kelly. Oh my God.
As if there's not enough just crazy shit going on in our country. Honestly, I'd be like, yeah, that kind of is on par for everything that's going on around the world right now. It's just, I feel like the world is out of control. So I'd be like, yeah, R. Kelly getting pardoned makes sense right now.
It's just amazing. Like, of all the people out there, pardon Todd Chrisley and R. Kelly. Wait, what? Shouldn't we focus on some other things? No. Let's make time.
Other problems?
Yeah, it's just wild. I mean, from R. Kelly, it just must be going crazy all day. But apparently, he's still making music. He's got like music made in prison. Like, he's got these ideas to make music. So, I thought he'd be a star in prison. I guess not. So, all right, Dax, number 2.
He's probably a star to the other inmates, maybe not to the prison officials. All right, number 2, Justin Bieber publicly ending a friendship. He shared this private text thread about his anger. We know that there's been a lot of anger issues. There's been a lot of topic about him being very upset. Well, earlier this week, he posted multiple screenshots of a conversation he apparently had with a friend whom he declared that he was cutting off after their interaction over a text. So basically the conversation went back and forth and said, I would never suppress my emotions for someone. Conflict is a part of a relationship. If you don't like my anger, you don't like me. And then he explained that his anger is a response to pain, and he's been working through the pain, asking a traumatized person not to be traumatized is simply mean. The person that he's talking to, we don't know who it is, by the way, said not used to someone lashing out, saying that to Bieber. It's not that I don't see or feel your anger. And that is kind of, I think, that sent Bieber over the edge. He said, ouch, this friendship is officially over. I will never accept a man calling my anger lashing out. I enjoyed our short-lived relationship. I wasn't kidding when I told you I needed you as a friend. I have good friends who will respect these boundaries. And then basically called the dude a pussy and said that he always kept my distance, and that was it. Don't contact me anymore. Why share that with the world, though? Like, why did he post that? I don't understand. Like, Bieber likes privacy. Why would you post a private conversation to the world like that?
I know what you mean. He's been going through a lot, obviously, but we don't know exactly what he's going through. The stories about him kind of breaking his feud settling up with Scooter Braun are coming. We're hearing more about his settlement with Scooter Braun, because there's stories that Justin owes a lot of people money. We saw the paparazzi meltdown last week, that video, which I I'm not pro paparazzi in that, it was a tough situation. The paparazzi are doing their job. However, they know paparazzi usually don't provoke, but in a Justin Bieber situation, they're going to provoke because they know they'll get something out of them. Most people, like a Brad Pitt, you can't provoke a Brad Pitt. You know, what are you going to do? Jump in front of him and just he just keeps walking. But like, there's a few people you could poke and you never know. It's like, okay, that makes the clip. And when he went off, I felt bad for the bodyguards because what the bodyguards want to do in that video with the paparazzi breakdown last week, the bodyguards at first started to like kind of push Justin away, but then they realized like, hey, that's not our job. Our job's to protect him, and we'll get fired for picking him up and bring him somewhere else because we knew that he was just kind of digging himself a grave there. I think we're all curious of what's going on with Justin Bieber. Obviously, I don't think the media is helping with his situation. I guess we keep throwing gas on the fire, but I wonder when we're going to find out. And when we're going to get new music from Justin, because the guy I have sources that I trust that said, like, Justin, yeah, there is some financial struggles because he's burned through a lot of money and hasn't really made it that much money in the past few years. So, but you're the one who's always like,
yeah. He's crazy talented.
Say, you're the one, crazy talented. I love his music. I always say Justin Bieber music over Justin Timberlake music.
100%.
Is that me? I think 100%. Justin Timberlake's songs, he always has one commercial song and the rest of the album sounds the same. Bieber has made hits to me. I mean, I think he's made bangers. And also, Bieber's just cool. He is cool. Obviously, when he's having meltdowns, it's not the coolest thing. But I hope he does well. And people are always like, how did he burn through all his money? Well, he kind of just, I just think everything was effortless. Like I say effortless, like planes to help to team, like security, like that stuff adds up. And it's not multiple homes, taxes, paying other people, he's got a lot of people on the payroll.
Give any of us $100 million at the age of 16, I'm sure we would have made a lot of poor choices as well.
You give me $100 million right now at my age, I will give you $958,000 back in a year. That's how much. Like, I just need a few grand just to kind of be all right. All right, Dax, the number one story of the week.
Number one story of the week. No surprise here. Anne Burrell, obviously TV chef, host of a ton of shows on the Food Network, was found unconscious and unresponsive in her home and passed away this week in New York. So that was all according to the New York City Police Department. It seems like she was 55 at the time of her death, and police are sharing some details about how they found her. But basically, in a statement to NBC News, they basically said that they were called to an address in Brooklyn, one that matches Burrell's personal information, shortly before 8 a.m. in a response to a report about an unconscious and unresponsive 55-year-old woman. Emergency medical services responded and, per the statement, and pronounced her dead at the scene. So the cause of death is still pending, and an autopsy with the official office of the chief medical examiner. And she's had a very, very successful career. Worst Cooks in America. She did. She's done a bunch. I feel like just so many shows on the Food Network. She Iron Chef America. She did. That's kind of, I feel like, how a lot of people know her back from 2005. But she's been, one of those main faces that you see in the food TV industry. So sad to report that news.
Sad to report. A lot of people, a lot of chefs, a lot of celebrities kind of posted stuff about her, just kind of caught off guard by it. Still a very young woman, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't really watch much of her content or her stuff, but I did know who she was, her look. She had a very standout look. She was always very jolly and nice, but sad news. But I think everyone was just really caught off guard and shocked by that news. And more people clicked on that than the P. Diddy story this week. So, sorry, Diddy, but
there you go.
You got a lot of stuff going on. All right, that is the Raw Rundown. Thank you guys for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Follow our private Facebook group, Off the Record. You talk to us, we talk to you. Great community. Follow me at Adam Glyn. Follow Dax Holt at Dax Holt. We'll see you guys next week.
Guys, hope you like that video. We got a lot more where that came from.
Hit that bell, like, subscribe, share with a friend. The best thing you do to support us is really doing that. And we really need the money because we need hair gel.